To all who have served and serve today, thank you for your service. This memorial was built out of the love and respect the St. Mary's community has for all of you and for those who gave their lives while protecting all of our freedoms and us. This wonderful Veterans Memorial is another gift to St. Mary's High School from the St. Mary's class of 1966. On behalf of the entire St. Mary's community, I want to again thank the class of '66 for their continued support and love for their alma mater. What an unbelievable example you continue to set. A special thank you to Mike Mount and Bob Ryan, who spearheaded the effort to build this memorial. This is a day to set apart a particular place in order to honor and memorialize those veterans who serve our country. As you will see at this memorial, there are 6 monuments, one for every branch of the armed services and for first responders. These 6 monuments surround the granite stone in the middle, underneath the American flag, which states, "This American flag honors the men of St. Mary's High School, who are veterans and first responders. With gratitude, class of 1966. Our liberties and values stand safe today because of the brave men and women who have been ready to face the fire, and we thank God for each and every one of them. Let's recognize these dragons for their service." Richard H. Hollowood, Lynn D. Barnett, Mike Miller, Ronald Hoffman, Paul Sikorsky, George Grote, Michael Paneri, Robert Kelly, Bill Wrights, G. Draper Bickham, John Zdrodwarski, Steve Wynn, Bill Philman, Paul Bellabradic, Joe Daniels, Frank C. Shaper, Donald Hoffman, Robert William Hogg, Dennis Joseph Winkler, Kevin Luna, Eugene Tice, Vince Kolafa, Joe Zdrodowski, Robert Simakaitis, Joe Carenza, Michael Campbell, David Horn, Ken Gable, Joe Benet, Dan Carmody, David W. Bentrup, William Fields, Dan Lowry, Tom Beckvar, Dennis P. Long, Ray Abernathy, Colonel W. Sano, Joe Willenbrock, Timothy Butte, Joseph Zander, John Brensick, Ryan Reynolds, Michael P. Roach, Gary Leindecker, Rick Schooley, Don Wentzowitz, Dan Kleppel, Lawrence White, John Schwarz, Corby B. Campbell, Bob Schindler, Jack Mount, John Bell, Santo Nos, James Imms, Dan Schroer, Roger Stotts, Anthony G. Luna, Edmund Lewandowski, Tom Lewandowski, Ron Lewandowski, Dan Wolf, Norman Carter, Joseph Kramer, Jerry Pica, Jerry Moore, Major John W. Pelch, Charles Jolly, George Eichmeyer, Martin J. Petz, Neil Toomey, Raymond Welsh, Charles Mispagel, Thomas Thale, Marty Dooley, Joe Heller, Michael Haney, Steve Hasser, Marty Deshu, Tom Zitch, Charles Swoboda, Michael S. Williams, Charlie Antony, Frank Schwantner, James Schwantner, Robert Ronquest, Ken Schwent, Ray Hoyt, Dennis Gaynor, Carl Sonderman, Claude Leasy, Mike Ruzicka, Gregory Tolkow, Jack Lupke, Michael Holleran, Terry Gummels, Thomas DeGrief, Jerry Gutting, Jerry Eschman, Don Brush, Bob DeGrief, Bob Mayer, Lou Tapple, Jerry Sipp, Joe Rinke, Jerry Nieders, Charles Kuhnel, Ronald Zinkel, Donald Zinkel, Charles Zinkel, Robert Zinkel, Carl Tieber, David Brownell. From John, chapter 15, verses 12 and 13. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. May all of us, when we lay our heads down to sleep tonight, thank God for the freedoms that we enjoy here today and ask God's protection on all those serving our country this very day as members of our armed forces. As we gather here today to express our gratitude to those that have served, are serving, and will serve in the future, let us not forget those dragons that gave their last breath. Gerald Boyle, James Bruni, Charles Flynn, Henry Weinhardt, Vernon Gavain, Wesley Bogdan, Robert Fitzpatrick, Arthur Michel, Frank Gebhardt, Charles Reinheimer, Luke Dieters, George Helsing, Clarence Sibelski, Kenneth Reich, George Held, Clarence Hoffman, Jerome Schmidt, James Stouter, Robert Winkler, James Vonderhaar, Paul Zielinski, Raymond Osterman, Edward Rohde, Charles Ressler, Matthew Held, Emmett J. McDonald, and Leo Costello. I now ask Mr. Robert Altman to come forward and honor those that have given the greatest love possible. May God bless all of you. May God bless St. Mary's High School. And may God bless the United States of America.